lot of the times it's the watch that looks good on your wrist. This watch looks good on or off your wrist. I often see myself just holding this overseas and just looking at it and saying, wow, man, what an amazing, beautiful watch.
You talk about Rolex, you know, they take you to that VIP lounge, the chairs, whatever. And whenever they got new models, novelties being released, you just don't see them till it's like a year and a half maybe till you actually see them, right? So the one thing you do always when you get to the airport is go check out the Rolex stand. There'll be nothing for sure, but just a peek, right? But when Vacheron does it,
Okay, Mr. Edwin, a pleasure meeting with you today.
Hi, Eda. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you so much. It's actually very nice to be here, visit this platform, and get to maybe glimpse of your historical aspects and what you do really toward the women's segment, but also, most importantly, some pieces that we've never seen before. So can you tell me maybe, for a start, what is this event about, or what is this platform about?
First, thank you for being here and flying from Dubai to Riyadh.
My pleasure.
So that's our first event in Riyadh, dedicated to ladies' fine watchmaking.
I got Mr. Leo behind the scene here helping me out. All right, so this one is going to be for the ladies. This is going to be, so throughout the whole year, I talked about stuff that's to do with us, our watches, the men's collection. I never really talked about anything that's to do with the ladies' collection. Everything was, men's watches that, potentially a lady can wear, like the Coral Red Oyster Perpetual that I've just, given to my wife on the previous video. But I've never really tapped into watches that are specifically designed from look and feel to complication to wearability to case size, lug width, all of that is only for the ladies, from a Trinity brand as well, like Vacheron. And can you tell us something a little bit about what appears to be the dial of the pendant, or maybe the front piece of the pendant?
So, because it's at the first sight, it's a jewelry timepiece. The dial is hidden under the cover. So we need to know that when people started gathering, in the early 20th century, it was very rude to look at the time in front of the audience. So people were trying to hide the fact that they were wearing watches and hiding under the cover to be able to look at it discreetly.
Before I give you the perspective, which is not going to come from me, it's going to come from, say, the leaders, right? The top people themselves, right? And this is something we're going to get into. I want to tell you first about the experience. I mean, I'm not paid for this video. They didn't tell me what to say or what not to say. I'm just simply a customer with the acquisition of the overseas blue dial and rose gold. And hopefully one day I can jump into the perpetual level, which is a dream. Honestly, let me put it this way. It's always been stainless steel for me up until this piece, right? And that aside, wearability, everything about this watch has just changed my perspective. It is not a volume game anymore. It is, one piece that can have 3 looks that can really be your only watch. But then jumping back into the experience, so I get a phone call from Vacheron. They say, you know what? We've got this VIP event dedicated for the ladies. It's in Saudi Arabia. Why don't you hop in? And I said, you know what? Sure. I didn't expect anything. I got on the plane because I'm interested in the brand. I'm interested in learning about the brand. Vacheron does bespoke stuff. We all know that. But I was interested to learn more and more, right? So the experience is warm. When I bought my Vacheron, my newly acquired piece.
11,220.
Yeah. Ah, perfect. And you'll make me the tax return. And just digging into their history, their complication, and what do they stand for, I just thought to myself, why don't I go check it out? Now I get to the airport, I land.
that's what's exciting, man, is when brands invite you to come for our private viewings.
And there was this car, man. There was this Rolls-Royce Ghost.
Honestly, the level of hospitality here is next level. What Vacheron had put together in terms of this amazing ride. I like getting chauffeured in a Rolls-Royce, which is ridiculous.
I've not even seen one in real life before, let alone be chauffeured in one.
This is how it should be done. I mean, if all other brands are watching, please do the same thing, you know, take care of us.
That was just there. The driver was talking to me about, check out the scenery in Riyadh. I'm like, man, check out the scenery inside the car. I mean, it was such a nice gesture. They didn't have to do that. So we go in, we stop for coffee. The ride was amazing. Even the person that took me there happened to know about watches as well. Happened to know about Vacheron's watches, so that was a separate chat. We'll keep it for later. So we get to the venue basically, which is the Four Seasons. This is a big landmark, sort of like when you have the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. There is the Four Seasons, the Kingdom Tower in Riyadh, and I walk in, and it was a warm welcome from the entire Vacheron team. Erwin spins us around and shows us stuff that is historical, from basically ladies' jewelry pieces that dates back to the 70s, and he told us all about it, right? He gave us different segments.
It's called a cocktail watch.
It's not called the cocktail watch, but it was the cocktail. It was the style that women were expecting in the 1970s, 1980s, you know, toward the end of the First World War.
Sure.
To have something that can show, of course, the time for the owner, but also to show the wealth of the people at that time.
Of what these watches are, when were they born, and what do they really mean to the brand, right? And what is the brand's philosophy also to keep this legacy going? And then we jump into, you know, today, the modern watches, the 37 case sizes, right? The stuff with the diamonds and the stuff that is hand-picked baguettes, basically, that is placed.
Well, now we are going to discover our new collection dedicated for women called Égérie. Well, Égérie first means muse in French. So that's a person you take inspiration from. And why we decided to launch this collection is to get inspiration also from the haute couture. Haute couture and the fine watchmaking have a very strong relationship and very strong similarities in terms of details, but also in terms of craft. And here within Égérie, you will see a classic round shape, but coming with a twist that we like pretty much to do within Vacheron Constantin, with a very beautiful asymmetrical dial with the crown at 1 o'clock.
When you talk about limited watches with other brands, this word could be misused a lot. Omega would tell you everything is limited, but then there's millions of them. With Vacheron, even though they don't say this is limited, it's a small production run. The company as a whole, across all of their lineups, they make, what, 20,000, maybe shy of 25,000 pieces a year.
And here you have two beautiful creations from our maison, which are two moon phase function. So you have two different models. One with the fully paved dial, bezel and bracelet, coming with a bit more than 300 round cut diamond.
Right.
Manually setted on the watch, and coming with a beautiful moon phase in a mother of pearl to give even more life. So here we can see on the dial, I would say, the inspiration we took from the haute couture. So we use our technique and the watchmaking technique within Vacheron Constantin with the guilloché dial, inspired from the haute couture with what we call the plissé. So the plissé is the inspiration taken from the dress in the haute couture, which is giving some beautiful and aesthetic aspects to this beautiful timepiece.
That was the sort of philosophy behind this lineup from Vacheron, right? So they looked at case sizes that are specific to a lady's wrist. So when you speak of 37 being the largest, they're not attributing that for us men, right? They're specifically talking about the women's segment.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, Vacheron Constantin is a combination of technicality and aesthetics. But we need to know that nowadays, women are not only looking for aesthetical products in the watchmaking industry, but are more and more keen to look at some complication. So here we have two beautiful creations coming for the first time on the ladies' timepieces with the tourbillon function. So we have here two options. The first one is a rose gold version with a mother of pearl dial, and on the left side we have our high jewelry timepiece, combining a full gem setting on the dial, on the bezel and on the case, coming with round cut diamonds and emerald cut diamonds on the dial.
I feel like 2022 is going to be the year for Vacheron, and that's the credit they deserve, right? So two years ago, you would walk into the boutique and you would see all of the overseas just lined up, right? You can pick them, and we didn't buy them, we didn't pay attention, and Vacheron told us basically how this is even over Patek to some extent, right? That's a Patek Philippe seal, this is a Geneva Hallmark seal. They told us,
I see the boxes at the back as well, and I peek at some tourbillons and minute repeaters.
So if you cover with the sleeve, no one will notice it's a minute repeater. Only initiated people will know it's a minute repeater.
That's so true.
Because the small second is at 9 o'clock.
Very true.
Otherwise, it remains a
It looks
simple
so
patrimony.
Yeah, simple and basic on that side up until you see that small little tilt.
Yes.
And you know,
Which makes the whole difference.
Yeah, exactly. Not even with the second wheel being at 9 o'clock, that still wouldn't sink it to me.
For me personally, there is two highlights. The first one is here in the middle. We have a high complication, which is a combination of a tourbillon, a perpetual calendar, but also giving some very particular indication, being the sunrise and the sunset, but also the equation of time.
I mean, the relationship with the other big brands is that, you know, you walk in it, you pay, you get the watch and you leave. It's transactional. But Vacheron has got this way, right, where even if the stuff is impossible, they know it's going to be miles, years, wait lists for you to get it. It's not a straight up goodbye, we can't give it to you. It's a sit down, let's talk about your interests, let's see how we can help you, what we can suggest as well, you know, to suit that profile for you, or maybe we can just get you the piece if you dedicate that time.
Simple luxury watches, it's something which is very difficult and gives a lot of challenges.
And that's great because you guys listen, and then at the end of the day, you try as much as possible to engage communities through your platforms, through your warm welcome. I said it on a previous video. If you guys had missed that video, please go check it out, where I unboxed this beautiful overseas that had Vacheronized me completely.
For me, I'm invested in Vacheron. 2022 is going to be a year where I'm going to heavily speak about Vacheron. I'm going to voice my learnings and I'm going to share it with you guys. And I'm also interested in different pieces, different complications. So I've got the 56 in stainless steel. Vacheron is not an alternative. I'm not telling you to turn around to Vacheron because you can't get a Patek or an AP or whatever. Just single them out and place them above because that's really where they need to be. That is the last video of the year. Thank you guys so much for your continuous support. Thank you for following me. Your comments is what kept me going. I honestly made a lot of friends along this journey as well the past 2 years. People that I got to meet in person, whether they flew to Dubai or me flying out to, you know, whether it be Holland, where I met with Jasper from Amsterdam Vintage Watches, and we did also a collab and a video there. Khalid Farouk, who's a local based collector. We didn't know each other prelude to the channel. We got to know each other because of Watch Society. Watch Society is really bringing or building a society of watch enthusiasts all over the world. And I made some amazing friends along the way, and I will continue to meet and support you guys in any way that is possible and bring you diversified content. I wish you guys a happy new year and Merry Christmas to you and your family and all your loved ones. I hope 2022 is the best year of your life, is the best year where you can achieve everything that you wanted to achieve. I wish you all the wealth and health in the years to come. Thank you.